Good evening and welcome to Real Talk, where every Sunday night we offer insight, education, and resources to in home caregivers and those that are affected in their world. These are the children, the parents, the extended family, and everyone who loves them. And our goal is to offer real life topics and learning through discussing real issues and offering real solutions. And tonight I am very excited to welcome our guest, Kimberly Brown, who is the president of the Nanny Sitter Education Fund. So, welcome, Kimberly. It's great to have you.
Hi, Tanya. Thank you for having me. So excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I love a little bit about Kim's story. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit. I'm going to ask her to tell you about herself because I love how she describes herself. This is amazing. She's an avid supporter of working parents. I that just to me is amazing and a great way to describe yourself because the role that caregivers who work in the home provide, everybody thinks about the kids all the time. But the reality is, we are also supporting and taking care of those parents. So I love that you described it that way as a working parent myself. And she has spent her professional career supervising, nurturing, guiding, and inspiring the children of the career families that she's worked for throughout her life. And as a single parent of a small toddler and a state licensed foster parent, Kimberly is also very experienced in caring for minors of all ages, from infants to tweens to teens. So I might have a couple I'll send your way because I don't know what to do with
Perfect.
my teens. She believes that it takes a village to raise a child and so sees herself as a village leader. Kimberly takes great pride in her work and confidently shares her work ethic with her peers and her clients. And we're going to talk about one aspect of that tonight that when you first reached out to me about it, I was super excited about this because
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about education and I'm passionate about making education accessible, but also that it's excellent education. And excellent education doesn't always come cheap. And that makes it inaccessible for a lot of people.
Excellent.
And
Agreed.
you have done something amazing here. And we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, share with our audience just a little bit about you and your journey, how you got to where you are, because that lets them know you better and it lets them know your heart and makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Um, Outside of what you've talked about, I've been in the industry for 25 years. I started off right out of high school as a nanny. I did the whole gambit. I was a Girl Scout troop leader. I did, daycare at church. I worked in daycare. And then from there, I just kind of developed this love for just really being, I guess, personalizing the experience of childcare. So I just really fell in love with being a nanny and working with one family, getting to have a relationship with the parents. And I do see myself, as like coming in and not just working with the children, but working with the families. And then as time went on, I ended up having, my parent consultant business. So I do a lot of consulting and I go in and take like the jobs that no one wants.
Mm-hmm.
The jobs that are really hard are the ones that, a nanny would be like, I'm never working for that parent. Like those are jobs that I like thrive on. I love them because I get to go in and help the parents. So it is important to me that we do such a great job as nannies and, as newborn care specialists, because most of our job is, like you said, not just caring for the child, is caring for the parent and the whole family. And a lot of times we don't see that. But I think the education part is so important because the only way that you really get to educate the parent is by knowing what you're talking about. So when I go in as a nanny or as a household manager, and then I start explaining things to them and maybe giving them books, giving them articles, they're like, oh, like you're not like the last nanny we had. Like you're like a real nanny,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the, the thing that you're looking for when they say, oh, like you really know your stuff. Like you're a real nanny. Like, yes, this is what a career nanny, a professional nanny looks like. So that's me in a nutshell. Like, I love that I've had the experiences that I've had, that I took the time to get the education, that I felt was good for me and for what I wanted to bring to my families. And I think with, the program that we have with NSC Fund, is that's what we really wanted to look at and wanted to do. So my heart is really for the education part of what we do. I feel like there's no other career where you can just come out of school and say, I'm a professional, and walk into that, office and say, this is what I do. I'm a professional. I know it because it's in my heart. They would say, okay, we were glad it's in your heart, but we want something to back it up,
Uh-huh.
And so, so what you offer for newborn care solutions, what we want to do with NSC Fund, my heart is to make sure that we are all educated and to never stop making sure that we reach that point. And I know that there are like so many other people that are like me, who really say, like, I'm glad that I got the education. Like, I didn't know how much I needed it until, I got it, and until I had to use it, on on site or at work or whenever, or this article I read really came in handy. So I think that is like the main gist of me, and
Mhm.
just getting to know me is where my heart is with the parents and with our as educators and stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And, you brought up such a great point when you said, there's no other career where you can walk in and say, oh, well, it's in my heart. I'm passionate about this. Now I'm a professional. And I'm very well known for saying, if you want to be paid like a professional, and if you want to be treated like a professional, and you want the benefits of being a professional, then you better be and behave like a professional.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And education is one of the key components of being a professional, right? But
Yes.
I,
Yep.
you are also really real about the fact that it's not accessible for everybody. And so you founded the Nanny Sitter Education Fund. Did you do it on your own, or did you do it with some other people?
No, we have an amazing team. It actually was brought to me by the Averys. And so they're out in Hawaii. They have a agency there, Maribel Avery and her husband Joe. And so they came to me and they said, we have this idea, and what do like we want to go forward with it. We're willing to put in all the work and do everything, like, but we just don't know, kind of. They wanted a team. They wanted,
Mhm.
to have a team that would work with them. And so I have we have Hasatsu Berry, who is she's the babysitter guru.
Mhm.
So she has an agency in New York, but she mainly just does babysitting. So
Mhm.
like if you are looking for a babysitter, like she's the person in New York. She works with Sitter City and does classes for the parents and stuff. And so, she was saying, I'm all for our sitters having education, because a lot of sitters, they end up turning into nannies, so what better way to have it if to have them start their education early,
Mhm.
you know, and not get into the career and be 5 or 10 years in and then say, okay, well, I think I should take a class,
Mhm.
like most of us had.
Right.
So we have a team. There are, I want to say 7 or 8 people on the team as the
Mhm.
directors, and we all work together. We have done like, I don't know, that our nonprofit, everything was formed. Like we had such amazing team that really helped and
Mhm.
did everything really quickly so that we were able to get off the ground running.
Mhm.
And so I was excited last year when we launched.
Mhm.
We really had a vision, we put it together, and saw a great outcome. So I
Right.
was excited about it. So yeah, our
Great.
team is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that in our interactions with you, because we are working with your fund, right? And so our
Yes.
interactions with you it's been lovely to have it be professional and handled well. And so
Thank you.
that's been great. Tell our audience a little bit about kind of the mission of the fund, what the goals are, um, what your vision is.
Sure. So I'm going to read it because I want to make sure that I have it right.
Okay.
But our mission is to help alleviate the economic burden of education for childcare professionals in need. Our vision is to ignite educational opportunity in the childcare industry, with children being the ultimate beneficiary. So the main thing is we really felt this need. We did this survey right before we started, and we kind of put it in some of the Facebook groups, and we asked people to take the survey. And what we found is there is a huge percentage of people that want more education and don't have the funds. They, they work and then they pay their bills, they do everything that they need to do, and then they don't have enough to kind of do the extra classes or the extra courses. We found that there are a lot of people that said if they had the funds, that they would definitely do it, that they feel that their children would be better off, that they nanny if they got more education. And this was from a gambit of people. This wasn't just from like new nannies. This was from nannies that were in the field. They've been, I think some of them, I think one of the questions were, how long have you been a nanny? And we found it like the people that answered were really like in between the 7 and 15 or 20, year span. Like they had really been still wanting to have more education, or wanted to get this education and have it paid for, but just didn't have the finances, or maybe needed help. And so I think the other thing to realize is that when you talk about like scholarships, and when you talk about financial aid, unless you're going to an accredited school, you really don't qualify for financial aid. And in our industry, that's the problem. Like we're not a school that you would have accredited, so that becomes, an issue for some people, and then financially they need help. So that was the main thing, is to alleviate that burden and to really just understand, like I said earlier, that when we have the education, our children benefit from that, because we're helping them, we're nannying for them, we're giving them what they need. We're understanding child development, we're understanding what issues they may be having that the parents may not be able to pick up on. And so I think that the education factor in our industry is lacking. And you have some people that have like tons of education, and then there are some that are just like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't need the education. And then there are those that say, like, I need the education, I want it, but I just financially can't do it. So that's kind of where we come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I run into people who tell me that, especially about newborns, because there's a misconception that you don't really need to know very much to be good at taking care of newborns. And my feeling is, I always say, the day that you think you know everything, the day that you think you don't need to learn anything more, is the day you should retire, because it's the day you become dangerous. And so I love that you guys are doing this. So if somebody says, okay, I think this is awesome, I don't really need this, but I see that other people do, and I want to help. How can people advocate for what is going on, help support what you guys are doing, even give if they'd like to?
Sure. So we do have a website. We have, the website is NSE Fund. Well, NSE.fund. So there's no .com, it's just .fund. So it's Nanny Sitter Education .fund. So NSE Fund. You can go on there. There is a page as soon as you go on there that will allow you to donate online. And it'll take your payment. It will send you, receipt. We are nonprofit, so that's a tax write-off for you. So definitely please give. And we also have our Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow us on there, and also on LinkedIn. So we're on LinkedIn as Nanny Sitter Education Fund, is written out. And then we're on Facebook and Instagram at NSE.fund.
Perfect.
So,
and we'll put the links for all of that stuff in the feed, so that anybody who's watching this, even on replay, can get that information. So if somebody says, wow, this is amazing, I would love the opportunity to take a class, and I don't have the funds to pay for a class, how does that work if they want to reach out to you guys and get some assistance?
Sure. So there is an application. What we're doing now is we're kind of taking a hiatus. We did last year. We're already like into this new year. And so for anyone who missed us last year, we opened our applications at the beginning of December. I think it was December. And then we closed them in February. And we just did a round of payouts. So I actually this past week just enrolled someone in. So you have a new student. And so we'll be looking for people who want to donate. We'll be looking for people who want to apply. And then what happens is when we open up the applications, it'll probably be again toward the end of the year. We'll open up the applications. And then once we open up the applications, people can apply.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, my allergies are acting up. I feel like I'm going to sneeze, but nothing's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to apply at the end of the year. So look for us, follow us so that you can actually see when the applications are open and running. And then we'll leave them open for, again, probably about 2 months, and then we'll close. And then all the funds that we've gotten from donations this year that's we're in will roll out into the new applicants. So we just did, I think it was 7 or 8 applicants that were able to get funded for school and have some of their finances either paid for the colleges that they're in, or for, like, I know some 1 or 2 of them went to sleep training. They wanted to do sleep training. Someone wanted to do lactation consultant. Someone was in school for child psychology, and we helped with some of their finances. Of course, we had a student that is going to your school, so they'll be at NCS, and they're doing the foundational classes. And we had a few people. I think it was another someone else did like a NCS school in Hawaii or something. So we had about, I want to say, 25 people that applied. So we were shocked. We were like, yay, we have applicants. So it was really good. It was great. Everyone that has been on the team, and we have people that helped to advocate for us, and just really get the word out. So everybody was really happy. We did our end of the year, our silent auction, which we'll definitely do again. So if you would love to donate, we're here. We're gonna do our silent auction at the end of the year, and everybody just had so much fun with that. So we really got to raise some money last year, and we're looking to do it again, and as well as having different businesses like yourself come and be on our panel as part of like our partnership and stuff, so that we can have more schools and more companies offering their services, so that everyone knows what they're want to take, what classes they want to take. So yeah.
Yeah. And the more opportunities there are, the broader spectrum of people you can serve. So that's fantastic that you're doing it
Yeah.
that way. So you're saying that right now, just so that we're clear for our audience, applications are closed right this minute, but they will be reopening later in the year. And if people are following you on social media, and of course, when it's time, we'll put it out on our social media again, then they can apply at that time, and then selections will begin for the next round of grants. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So there's a lot going on here. And I think that this is great. I mean, there's been a lot going on in our world because of COVID anyway.
Yes.
And there've been a lot of different kind of ways that people are trying to help. This is a real practical kind of a, not give a man a fish, but teach a man to fish kind of way of doing things. And I love that. Is there anything else before we wrap up for the evening that you want our audience to know about what you're doing, or how they might want to get involved, or anything that you think they should know as a final takeaway?
Yes, absolutely. I would really love people to know and understand that, like, if you, like Tanya said earlier, if this is not for you. If you say, I'm already in the field, I have education, I'm great. I'm a big, big fan of always saying you should always have two things, a mentor and a mentee. If you are mentoring someone and they need what we are offering, let them know. Like it hurts no one to share, to follow us, to, you know, repost some of the things that we have, because you would not believe how many people have not heard of us yet. And we've been around for now a year. So please let people know once you watch, if they haven't, if you want to share this. I'm sure Tanya doesn't care if you reshare this video, and just so people will know. And, you know, if you're looking and you want to, you know, do something to help or to, I guess, get involved, let me know. I am around, and we're always looking for extra hands. We're always looking for people who would love to donate. We're always looking for people who want to go to school and want the education. So definitely, 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 please share. That's my main thing. If you take nothing from this, please share and let people know about us, so that we'll constantly have our applicants coming in, and we'll be able to help more people. So, yeah.
Yep. I'm 100% in agreement with you. Mentorship is a key component of our training program. I am not a fan of, oh, I trained you, now go have fun, see ya.
Yeah.
And I'm also a realist. You know, ideally, would I love if I could mentor every single student myself personally? That would be fantastic, but that's not real. Reality is, as an educator, I'm educating so many people that I can't do that. So we've assembled an entire team. We have a team of over 30 people that mentor our students on an ongoing basis. And for those who go long-term with us and into our master level program, it's actually a requirement of the program to be doing that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I say all the time, I went to Alexandria School when it was open, and like, I loved it there. And when I went there and I finished, they turned around, and then they were the agency that I worked with, and I worked with them for over 5 years. And one thing about that program was like the mentorship and being able to have the close-knit community, and you don't find it very often with different programs and schools. And so I think that that's a huge thing. You know, I always tell people all the time that I like work with infants. You know, I went to school for NCS, but I'm really quick to call Angela Johnson, one of your students. Hey, Ange, this is what's going on with my baby, you know, and my boss would be sitting there, ask her this, because I always tell her, like, Ange is, you know, this is what she does, live, breathe, and, you know, everything, walk babies. So, you know, I always tell her, I'm like, you know, I love that you went to school, and I have somebody else that I can call when I need to bounce something off of it, you know. And it's nice. It's nice to have a community of people. It's nice to have your friends that you have a community with that you can kind of talk to, because we do work alone. And sometimes we may not know everything, even if we have taken the classes and we do know something. It's always great to have someone else who's educated to be able to say, hey, have you tried this yet? Or, hey, have you looked at this yet? Have you asked mom, does she, you know, is she breastfeeding? Did she do this? So I think that, like, it's always great to have your community, and it's nice to have a mentee and a mentor, because it keeps you on your feet, you know? So I love that you have like a team that's helping everybody.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And you know what? Every one of them I've hand selected because I respect what they do, and they're specialists within what they do. So some of them are IBCLCs, and some of them specialize in sleep. One of them specializes in preemies, and one specializes in higher order multiples. And we have a team from Homework Solutions mentors our students so that tax stuff gets done right. We just have an amazing team that I'm just so grateful to have, and for the support that it provides for all of our students.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy that you guys have partnered with us and just kind of been very, very, very professional, as you said, like everything back and forth and talking to Julie and, making sure that we get things done. And
Mhm.
we really appreciate it. And, especially because we had just started and, when I thought of everyone and all the classes, I'm like, well, everybody that I know that has taken your courses, they're always like, they're the best, they're the best. We love them. And everyone's always like, when Tanya comes in town, we're gonna go to this training. And the trainings always get full really quick. And I was like, well, if everyone loves to go to Newborn Care Solutions, we definitely have to have them as one of the first people that we work with. And so I'm happy that it worked out and that we were able to do that, because that makes it easier for me
Mhm.
when people are like, I want to sign up. And I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. We were thrilled to death to hear about it and excited to be part of what you're doing and excited to make these opportunities more accessible to people where it's more challenging for them. So thank you for including us as well.
Yes, thanks.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to wrap things up, but thank you for joining us tonight on Real Talk, Kimberly. It has been an honor to have you with us. And I love that you've shared so much for our audience that will ultimately benefit them. And as you said early on, at the end of the day, the ultimate beneficiaries are the children. And that's where my heart always is. So
Yes.
that's that's the great. So thank you to our audience for joining us. If you have any questions around this topic or anything related to the Nanny Sitter Education Fund, please put them in the feed and tag Kimberly or tag Newborn Care Solutions, and we'll make sure that you get an answer. And if you're watching this on replay or you want to share it with anybody else or catch any of our other Real Talk episodes, you can go over to our website at newborncaresolutions.com and click on the education tab, or you can find all of our Real Talks on YouTube. All you have to do is search Newborn Care Solutions, Real Talk, and they all come up for you. So thank you for joining us and have a great night.